In this video, I'm going to try OpenAI's new AI agent, Codex, so you don't have to. I mean, who's spending $200 a month for this? I am. For you guys. In this video, we are going to test Codex's ability to answer questions about code bases, write error-free code, debug problems, and overall speed and efficiency. Now, one thing OpenAI noted is that Codex is not production ready. It is still in its research preview state. In other words, everyone who is testing Codex on their private code bases is basically giving away their code for free. I know OpenAI is just laughing in a corner right now. So to test Codex, I'll be giving it the codebase of InstaDM. Now, this codebase is pretty large. And what this tool does is it helps users send mass DMs on Instagram. So if you're a small business and you need to send maybe 500 messages a day on Instagram, doing that manually would suck, but having AI agent like InstaDM, it will make everything much easier. Now, like I said, the codebase is very large for this. Like I'm just talking about folders upon folders upon folders. So if Codex is really him, it should be able to understand the entire code base. It should be able to write code and add to this and basically help InstaDM become a better agent. Yes, I'm using an AI agent to help build another AI agent. Welcome to 2025. So to use Codex, you'll go to ChatGPT and you'll see this Codex tab right here. You click that, it's going to open Codex, move faster, and we click get started. All right, so you can see draft GitHub PRs in parallel. So Codex is basically your software engineering agent, right? That's meant to do everything that a software engineer can, the ultimate replacement, to be honest. It can navigate code bases, it can run lints and tests, and it's fine-tuned to work in large code bases. Well, we will be the judge of that. So to use it, I'm guessing you have to set up MFA, multi-factor authentication. Which I should be, okay. All right, and we are authenticated. All right, so we can connect to our GitHub account. So authorize that. All right, so setup is pretty easy. For GitHub organization, let's see if this loads up. Okay, let's just. So we have our repo added, continue. All right, so we can do multiple tasks, right? We can ask it to explain our code base to a newcomer. So let's say a new software engineer was being onboarded, a new developer was hired for this. They could understand the code base just by asking Codex directly. Codex can also code, so it can, code for us as an engineer could. And it can also try to debug it, fix code comments, documentations, and improve testing. So let's check off. We'll do all the tasks. So one cool thing about Codex is that each task is in its own container. So if you're familiar with Docker, Docker is a platform that code runs in a entire environment by itself, right? So it's separate from like your computer, essentially. So imagine these three tasks being done without blocking you. Like I can still do other things. I can just add tasks as I go. Now, as a founder, let's say you own an agency or you have your own SaaS. Instead of having to hire a full-on dev team, you can just treat each task as an engineer, So like this one is trying to find issues. This one's fixing important bugs. This one's explaining code base structures, right? And right now you can, sync multiple branches. Like you can work off the main branch, which is obviously you do not want to do, but there's also other branches. So let's say if I go to GitHub and I add another branch, just like in software engineering, each developer would have their own branch. I can just have different tasks work on different branches, and once the task is done, I can just merge everything together, right? So let me go to main. It's not coming up right now, but I wonder if I refresh, will these tasks still be up? Yeah, so like I said, this is on the cloud, it's on the GPT cloud. So these tasks will continuously run. I can probably exit out and come back later and just see if, the tasks are done. So we're just waiting for that. See the new dev branches are also up, which is great. Okay, while this is being done, let's look at some other things. So if you look at this post from OpenAI, we can see the benchmark test for Codex, right? So the other models, right, when looking at software engineering tasks, O1 high, 11% accuracy, right? O3 high, which is obviously liked a lot by a lot of people, 70%. Codex beats all of them, which is actually pretty crazy. Now, we look at the benchmark exams, right? It's kind of on par with O3 high, right? You don't see anything too crazy in terms of a difference, but the idea that you can work on tasks in parallel, right? Almost like each task is its own developer, just makes Codex way more practical for a lot of users, right? This will absolutely change the game of creating a SaaS, because you don't have to spend so much time doing every task by yourself, right? So you can see right here, everything is done. It looks like a bug was found, and we can see the code directly here. Check sign user, check subscription. Okay, so it renamed it. It made it sound a little better. I like that. Check sign in user, check subscription. Let's see, is this correct? Yeah, so it should be check subscription since it's in this function, right? So this is good. Now we can ask it to make more changes, or we can just go with this one. Now, say I want to push, right? I can create a new PR. I can create a PR draft, do a git apply, do a copy patch. Now, let's say I create a new PR. This will be sent to my GitHub directly. At least I think. I mean, I don't view it. Okay, so now, yep, you can see it's the changes there. I can merge pull request, confirm merge. Now, this was okay. So, wow, Codex made its own branch too. Okay, I was kind of nervous that this is on the main branch. Like I said, you don't ever want to make changes on the main branch directly. But no, it was actually made on Codex's own branch, which is actually really cool. Wow, good job, Codex. Was not expecting you to be that smart. I can't lie. Can't lie. All right, so that's cool. Now we can go back. All right, cool. So what else did it do? So found some issues, a typo in function, delete all from ban list. Oh yeah, the E. Ew. Okay, this was fixed. It fixed the README, missing tests. All right, so we're missing tests. So it says suggested tasks. So it will actually give you tasks like, hey, if you want to fix this, activate it. So let's say I want to add a test. I'm gonna click the code button. And I can view the task. All right, and this task is being ran right now. Okay, so we see these tasks are being run. Now, let's say I want to archive this because I looked at this already too. I can explain the code base. I haven't looked into this yet. Let's see. DM. That is correct. That is correct as well. Wow. This is actually really great explanation. I'm not gonna lie. This would help a new developer working on this project a lot. This is a core function right here, right? And it identifies it properly too. It's a core routine. Yep, this function right here does the main logic of my SaaS, and is able to see that. Wow. It even targets IPC communication, which is not a popular operation among developers. And then, yep, puppeteer automation. This is the backbone of the software. And you can see how to learn more. Yeah, this is actually a really good explanation on Codex's part. I can't even hate on it. Good job. Good understanding. All right, so let's go back. So this is creating a test. Okay, now let's try this. So we look at InstaDM, right? We see these buttons, right? I wonder how effective will Codex be to actually make certain changes that I specifically asked for, not the ones that I recommend. So this create task button is kind of grayed out. I want this to be more apparent. So I kind of want the start task button to be green. I want this create task to be blue. Okay, so if I say, let's put this on the dev1 branch, because again, we don't want this to merge into main, and we can say in the send page of instadm, the start task button is bluish, while the create task button is, it looks kind of transparent, no? Yeah. Slash. Yeah, that's good. We have on dev1 branch, this way we can separate, right, the tasks and make sure we're not operating on the main branch, and we can click code. And because this color feature is different from this test, like the code shouldn't intermingle, right? These tasks shouldn't get in the way of each other. So, you know, as the person orchestrating all these tasks, you also want to keep in mind that, hey, maybe I shouldn't have two tasks running on the same code exact file at the same time, because that can result in some problems, you know. Okay, so this looks like it's in the committing changes step. It's reading the test log. Okay. Yeah, so now we will wait and see how long this will actually take. Because this one took 3 minutes. Wow. So within 3 minutes it was done. This, like, a developer should be able to change like the colors of the buttons within, I'd say, like 3 minutes, right? In terms of locating it, changing the colors, making sure they're good. I'm very curious to see how long it takes Codex. But while we wait for that, let's check this out. So you see there's a lot of code added because we had absolutely no test in the past. Failed to run jest. Looks like there was a failure in actually testing it. So I added a lot of code, but the actual testing of it failed. Let's see why. And this is pretty cool. It gives you the logs right in the chat. So it tells you why. This will stop working the next major version. Just not found. So it says just not found. And we can ask directly why it's not working. Got an error. When running. We'll say ask. Okay, so looking at the error as to why it was not working, it needs an agents.md file. Yeah, so one thing about Codex is it needs an agents.md file. Agents.md, yeah. Yeah, so we have to make sure that in the agents.md file we correctly input that as a part of our code base, because without it, it's not going to be able to run properly. So we will do that. Before we do that, let's see if this, let's go back here. So this is still running. Okay, so let's add the agent.md to the code base. All right, so I have the agent.md created. Let me just capitalize that. Cool, and this exact template for my agents.md can be found. So you see right here, you go to the classroom and you go to prompt engineering, and you will see the templates at the bottom of this right here. So yeah, pretty cool. So just head over there if you want to get the template for that. But otherwise, we'll commit our changes. Commit directly to the main branch, and it should be here. Yep, agents.md, perfect. So let's see if it can capture the update. Will it know that in main I just added that addition? But yeah, so we see 7 minutes ago the button color was changed. I'll be honest, it should be less than that because I was working on an agent.md file. So yes, looks like 4 minutes and 30 seconds is all it took. And if we look at the actual changes in the code, so background was transparent, right? And this is for energy border. Yes, this is with the create task button. And now it's blue, background blue. And everything else looks the same. So there were no unnecessary changes made. Everything was as planned. So we go to this one, okay, and see the right here transparent. Now it's green. This is for on click. It was click send. Is this the correct? Update the send button to use a green background. Okay, so it looks like it got confused, right? Because I said in the send page, the start task button is bluish, while the create task button looks transparent dark, right? So turn the start task button to green, the create task button to blue. Instead, I turn the send button to green background and settings button to blue background. So it completely changed the wrong buttons. It was wrong. So I have the OpenAI app downloaded on my phone, and you can literally track the tasks from your phone. Like, look at that. Isn't that crazy? So if you're outside playing basketball or at the mall, you think of a cool idea, a cool feature to add to your SaaS, maybe a change, you can quickly go on your phone, tell Codex to create that feature or do that change, and it will start a task in the GPT cloud and just start working on it right away. So by the time you come back home, the task will be done. It'll be created. Okay, so that task didn't work out. So Codex is 0-1 right now. Next task we're going to do is we are going to change all of these buttons that say Prev to Previous, just because Prev seems kind of like informal, right? So I like the idea of just having it say Previous instead, right? So what we're going to ask is Previous. Now, this is clear enough where Codex should be able to decide or understand what it needs to do. Now, it's not too specific, right? But I think if Codex is good enough, it should be able to make this change appropriately. And I know for guarantee that Prev is definitely right there. Like, there's no reason it can't, find Prev. Okay, so let's open this. Let's see how long this will take. Oh, it changed it that quick? Look at that. Prev button. Look at that. So it found Prev and changed it to Previous. And there you go. Everything is done that quick. Wow. So it looks like only one change was made. So just that one button. Exactly what was asked for, which is great. Let's do a push. Create a new PR. And then we can open our PR. Yeah, and then let's update that. Cool, and now we have the Prev button label to Previous. So that was a simple fix. It was done well. So now we're going to do a very big task, a very big ask, in fact. I would be shocked if Codex is able to do this just because it is kind of hard, right? This is kind of an overhaul of the entire database. So instead of Firebase, I want to transition to Supabase. Migrate the code of. Okay, so now I'm telling it, don't actually change all the code, please. Don't break everything. But if I asked you to, make that file, I wanted to see how effective it is. Now, this is, like I said, this is a big task, right? And I'm very curious to see how good Codex is for this. If this works, it'll be one of the coolest things I've ever seen, because if Codex is able to literally overhaul a authentication from Firebase to Supabase, which is something that would take an engineer maybe like hours to do, we might actually see AI replacing software engineers at a crazy speed. After so many failures, you see that it just kept on trying to process everything, but the output is just too long every single time, right? It says failed, output from session shell, might be corrupt, tried again later, due to large output, failed. And then eventually it was able to go through, and you'll see right here, it added extracted line numbers, grabbed the line of Supabase entry. Yeah, so it added everything that was needed. But it looks like, obviously we didn't give it a Supabase key, right? We didn't add a a key in the environment, but the code itself, if you look at the code, we see the package.json and just added the 2 lines, and it made a new file, Codebase auth.typescript.ts. It set up a basic boilerplate. So you got sign with email. Okay. I'd say this, for the amount of time it took 8 minutes, 35 seconds to do this. It's pretty simple. I don't think this boilerplate it made is anything too complex. Shouldn't have failed so many times. Definitely should not have taken 8 minutes. So I think Codex, while it is a great tool to, get some tasks done, especially in like the explanation part of things, right? I feel like on the older tasks when we had it like find issues and debug and we had to just explain things, it was able to, explain everything pretty well. Like say right now, if we ask it, describe the proxies feature of this code base, it will do a pretty good job. And here is the explanation. You see right here, proxy management, find the proxy store, do the application state. Okay, so it breaks down how proxies are set up and each part of it throughout the application. Talks about different data structures and how we have, for example, proxy stored in an array. Talks about how it's being used. So each proxy is being attached to a puppeteer instance, which is correct. Right? Talks about different modes of proxies. Talks about how it's being applied in the UI side of things. See the IPC message. So this switches to enable proxies and choose whether each login profile has its own proxy. So it's actually able to explain like how proxies are being used at a per task, per profile basis. So the explanation is just great. Overall, the proxy feature allows users to manage their proxies, assign different proxies per login, test proxy via separate browser windows, and toggle proxy usage when running automated tasks. It got everything perfectly right. The ask feature on Codex is amazing. I think it's one of the best, right? The code feature needs work. That's honesty. Codex is a great AI tool. If you want to see me create an app from scratch using another AI tool called Lovable, then watch this video next.